Welcome back to Home Studio Horror. Been gone for a bit, but now we're back. And we're going to ease into things nice and slowly with some very short stories from hauntedrooms.co.uk. This first story is called The Puppy in the Basement. This short ghost story found on Reddit is super creepy. Mum told me never to go in the basement, but I wanted to see what was making that noise. It kind of sounded like a puppy, and I wanted to see the puppy, so I opened the basement door and tiptoed down just a bit. I didn't see the puppy, and then Mum yanked me out of the basement and yelled at me. Mum had never yelled at me before, and it made me sad. And I cried. Then Mum told me never to go in the basement again and gave me a cookie. That made me feel better, so I didn't ask her why the boy in the basement was making noises like a puppy, or why he had no hands or feet. This second story is called Nunchucks. When my daughter was 2, I found her twirling paper towel tubes tied with twine in the air. I asked her what she was doing. She said she was practicing her nunchucks. I was very confused as she'd have no way of knowing what they were. I asked her what she meant, and she said that Adam had told her how to make them and showed her each night how to use them. She went on to say that Adam told her to practice because she may need to know how to defend herself someday. I almost freaked out, but asked her what Adam looked like. She said he was tall, blonde, and had blue eyes. She said, "Mummy, you know how he looks. You know him. He died of a headache." I had to leave the room. You see, 4 months before she was born, my tall, blonde, blue-eyed, martial arts pro friend had died of a brain aneurysm at the age of 27. She has not spoke of him since that day, so I'm not sure if I scared her with my reaction or if she had completed her lessons. This next story is called There's Someone Under the Bed. Sometimes the very short ghost stories are the best, and this tale from Reddit via BuzzFeed tells the story of a father putting his young son to bed. I begin tucking him into bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed." This next story is called The Chair. This short tale starts benignly enough, with a friendly seeming ghost playing with children. But when you learn the origins of the ghost and just why the ghost is moving the object around the room, it quickly gets a lot creepier. Submitted via Reddit by Scoop Whoop. When my sister Betsy and I were kids, our family lived for a while in a charming old farmhouse. We loved exploring its dusty corners and climbing the apple tree in the backyard. But our favourite thing was the ghost. We called her Mother because she seemed so kind and nurturing. Some mornings, Betsy and I would wake up, and on each of our nightstands we'd find a cup that hadn't been there the night before. Mother had left them there, worried that we'd get thirsty during the night. She just wanted to take care of us. Amongst the home's original furnishings was an antique wooden chair which we kept against the back wall of the living room. Whenever we were preoccupied watching TV or playing a game, Mother would inch that chair forward across the room towards us. Sometimes she'd managed to move it all the way to the centre of the room. We always felt sad putting it back against the wall. Mother just wanted to be near us. Years later, long after we'd moved out, I found an old newspaper article about the farmhouse's original occupant. A widow. She'd murdered her 2 children by giving them each a cup of poisoned milk before bed. Then she hung herself. The article included a photo of the farmhouse's living room with a woman's body hanging from a beam. Beneath her, knocked over, was that old wooden chair placed exactly in the centre of the room. This next story is called The Ghost at Home. In one of my favourite short ghost stories, a man thinks that he loses his phone and someone is playing a trick on him. Turns out there is someone playing with him, but it's a ghoul rather than a person. Submitted by Reddit via BuzzFeed. Last night a friend rushed me out of the house to catch the opening act at a local bar's music night. After a few drinks, I realised my phone wasn't in my pocket. I checked the table we were sitting at, the bar, the bathrooms, and after no luck, I used my friend's phone to call mine. After 2 rings, someone answered, gave out a low raspy giggle, and hung up. They didn't answer again. I eventually gave it up as a lost cause and headed home. I found my phone laying on my nightstand, right where I left it.